Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm here today with Amirali, Naeem, and Eris. But before we even get started, really quickly, boys, all I have to say is Declan Rice.
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice.
He ate me up, bro. He ate me up. I got to go buy a Declan Rice jersey as a punishment at this point.
Declan Rice. That brother deserves an applaud, bro, because those two golazos were insane. And as a Barca man, it was a great game to watch, to witness. So wanted to start it off with Declan Rice, give him his flowers. And then, yeah, that's basically it. But let's get back to the topic. The topic that we have today is a club power ranking, okay? In this one, we're going to be doing it by a point system. So as you're familiar with other topics that we've done with a point system, 1 to 10, your 10th gets 1 point, your first gets 10 points. You put all the points together and you have a combined list, essentially, okay? So that being said, the boys have submitted their lists. It is us four, and the only other person that had a chance to submit was Greg. I believe he submitted his before the game as well, just an FYI, okay? And before you even get into it, me, Eris, Naeem submitted ours before the Arsenal, Madrid, and Bayern Inter games. Amirali submitted it after.
Yeah.
Did you take the current games into factor before we start? Yes or no?
A bit of recency bias, yeah, I would say so. Not a whole lot.
All right, then. We are always going to be starting off with honorable mentions. Team that ended up with 2 points was Fiorentina. The only person that had Fiorentina in was Naeem.
Yeah, no, I think Fiorentina are having a really good season. They have this other cool stat. They beat almost every single big team. So, your Napolis, your Inters, and your Milans, they beat one of each. I think they have that stat for the Serie teams. They're overachieving. I'm pretty sure they're in the European spot as well. So I think they're just they're 10th or 9th, I would say. So given the squad that they have, I would say they're outperforming.
So next team up with 3 points, another Seriea team. We have Napoli in there, okay? There was only one person that had Napoli in there, and that was Greg. He had them in at 8th. What do you think of them?
Yeah, I know. Recently, they've really fallen off, and I think there's a couple of factors to be taken into consideration. Obviously, the biggest one being conferenceleague. Your best winger being sold to Paris Saint-Germain. That's not easy to kind of recuperate with. The other thing is Conte's man management it hasn't been going well. They've picked up a lot of draws, which has really harmed them in the title race. So Conte is really... He has this philosophy that he's adopted recently where they'll go a goal up or even 2 goals up, and then they'll sit on the back burner. They won't go for the jugular, and they'll sit back, and that really costs them. They've really dropped off the title race, and they've succeeded to enter. I don't think they're going to win the Scudetto this season and have fallen off.
They're overachieving, I would say, still, but I would agree that there has been a recent drop-off a little bit. We are going to continue with 2 teams that had 4 points, okay? One of the teams was Atleticomadrid, and the other team was another Serie A team, Bologna. Okay, Atletico Madrid. So Eris did not have them. Naeem did not have them. Amirali did not have them. Greg had them in at 10. I had them in at 8. I was thinking of having them lower, and I could be a little bit biased, or not biased, but just the emotional part of it. I just feel so bad, bro. The way that the way that they were knocked out of the UCL, I think they were the better team, if I'm being honest. But overall in the 2 games, they were just very unfortunate to get eliminated for the reason that they did, bro. And then those mans are going to trial or some shit. They basically sent it over to different different agencies to kind of verify if it UEFA had tampered the video footage or whatever.
What happened? What was the result?
They sent it to 2 different ones apparently, and both of them came back saying that it's not legit the video. It has been tampered with. But
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. You see it from so many different angles. Some of them just look...
I still don't know if he touched it, I'll be honest.
Looked so obvious, but then you saw the ones we saw just after the match were what's going on, right? It's
that's the thing. They did a good job against us as well. It is what it is. I think I had them a little bit higher than I probably would have, just because I felt so bad for the way that they were knocked out. The other team that we had was Bologna. So I didn't have Bologna. Eris had Bologna at 9. Naeem had Bologna in at 10. Amirali had Bologna in at 10 as well.
I literally just based it off of recent form, but also their standing in the Serie A. If we look at back when the season first started, lost their manager, lost some key players, and everyone's all right, great. They also have UCL to deal deal with. That's going to take a toll. They're going to finish mid to low mid tables, at least what I predicted. Looking at them now, they're in fourth. The last 10 games are, I think, 7 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. And those wins have come against like Milan, draw against Napoli, a win against Lazio. I know the other wins have come against like more bottom feeder teams, but you can only play, who's in front of you. You can't really judge that. And to be up there fighting for UCL again, it's huge. So I couldn't like not give them a shout out in this power ranking.
It's just so impressive for a new manager to come in. Italiano, he's doing a fantastic job, and he has them right back in top 4. For a team like Bologna, that's just unheard of. They just have to be in my top 10.
Yeah, no, I had them like right in at 10th, but like the guy said, they've been pretty like impressive this season, and just like over the past couple of seasons since they've resurrected, I think they're climbing higher every year. 3 defeats only in Serie, which is that's tied best or tied second or something like that. So which is pretty impressive for a team of their scale. They didn't do well in the Champions League. But it's their first season back. Like Aris was saying, maybe expecting them just completely crash.
For me, a factor plays into if you are competing in more competitions than just the one. Me personally, that's how I did mine. That's another reason why I didn't have Napoli in mine either.
Hold on, no, Bologna was still in the Coppa Italia, I'm pretty sure. Or am I tripping on that? I'm pretty sure they should be in the final against either Inter or Milan, because I'm pretty sure they won. They won against Empoli.
They have to face Empoli in the semis.
No, I mean Europe when I say.
I know what you mean. Like if you compare it to Napoli, Napoli's out of everything. It's just Serie A. Whereas Bologna is at least like competing for another trophy as well.
They started in 3 competitions.
No, yeah, for sure. That was basically honorable mentions because we have 2 teams that came in at joint 10th. First team is Real Betis, and the other team is Benfica. They both ended up with 5 points. Okay, so Naeem did not have Betis. Amirali did not have Betis. Greg did not have Betis. Eris had Betis in at 10. I had Betis in at 7. In form right now, the 2 most informed Spanish teams are Barcelona and Real Betis, in my opinion. They played us. They tied. Very, very solid team. They beat Madrid. They're doing their thing in the competition in the Conference League. I know it is the Conference League, and they haven't faced the biggest teams or whatnot. But still, as Eris said, you can only face the mans that you have in front of you. And I just think they play very, very well, honestly, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, for the Conference League, they actually go all the way. And they have the GOAT, bro. If you have the GOAT, that brother changed. They're undefeated since he joined, bro. Or some shit that's actually insane, fam.
Anthony's undefeated against Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and he played decent, bro. He's been playing decent. That's the thing.
They've been so on form ever since Anthony, the GOAT, ended up going there. 2 big games that they did have: Madrid, Barca. Win against Madrid, draw against Barca. That's not an easy feat to do. I have to give them a shout out. In their last 10 games, like I said, 7 wins, 2 draws. They had 1 loss. So if we're doing a power ranking based off of in form, they're in form.
Yeah,
up the Betis, bro.
I'm surprised. I'm curious to see if Jas is gonna purchase a Betis jersey now, bro, because of
Anthony with number 20.
Yeah. he has a United one, right? Because of that man.
I just forgot about Betis, but I would say they're the most informed team in La Liga. But just forgot to make my list.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, the other team was Benfica. I did not have Benfica. Ayers did not have Benfica. Amirali did not have Benfica. Greg did not have Benfica. The only person that actually gave votes to Benfica is Naeem.
We're too biased, guys. We're too biased. We're being too biased at the top 5.
Naeem had Benfica in at 6.
Let me tell you why.
Brother. Preach.
Let me tell you why. When I was looking at my older list, we had Sporting there. So I was like, okay, if we're going to have Sporting there, I looked at the table. I looked at Benfica's results. Like, they only have 2 losses since January or something like that. And they won every single result, like every single game in the league. Obviously, the 2 games against Barca were, you're playing against the best team in the world, one of the best teams in the world, and, they kind of got steamrolled. But other than that, like, if I was going to have Sporting on the last list, just by virtue, I think Benfica, it's a tight title race, but I think they've been the best team in the Liga this season, and they have the results to show for it.
But when we did the first one, because you were there as well, like you said, when we did the first one, Sporting was tearing it up in the UCL as well, though. That's the thing.
Flawless. Champions League. That's why we had them. I think that's why I had them.
Yeah, no, they were, bro. They had just slapped City 4-1 or whatever.
Yeah, that was still a good City.
That's the thing. No, Benfica, they're doing the thing. Like, they're doing the thing, bro. In the Portuguese league, though, that's the thing. The only reason why I had Sporting back then is, like I said, because they were doing their thing there and the UCL.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't have Benfica. No disrespect to the Portuguese man's watching. You know what I mean?
It's not a top 5 league. It's not about.
Yeah, but also, again, if you saw, I think I sent you my honorable mention as well. Benfica was 11th for me because I looked at them. They were in great form. It's just I can't justify putting them in there if they got knocked out of the UCL and then they're just kind of like focusing on their league.
I mean, they played decently against us. us. But again, we were a man down as well. And they couldn't score against us, bro. You know.
True.
But again, Szczesny did his thing. But still, like that's what I'm saying. Like they had a chance to do something against us as well with a man down for how many minutes was it? I can't even remember. It was like 70 minutes or some shit. Yeah. That's why I couldn't personally have them in there, but they have been in for. We are going to be moving to 9th spot. So this team ended up with 7 points, 2 points above Betis and Benfica. That team they were actually invincibles last year. Leverkusen. Leverkusen ended up in at 9th. I had Leverkusen in at 9th. Eris did not have Leverkusen in there. Naeem did not have Leverkusen in there. Amirali had Leverkusen in at 8th. And then Greg had Leverkusen in at 9th.
Listen, like, I was one of the guys, I thought they would not be able to replicate what they did last year, and they haven't, but they're still second in the league. They're still pushing Bayern, to the final games. They probably still won't win it. Just looking at the league table, it's almost done over there. But I think it's only a 6-point gap. But they just lost the other week. You guys saw, like, to a 3rd division German team in the German Cup. So that was crazy. And they had an early Champions League exit. But hey, like, they've still been solid all season, like
with Leverkusen. Like the reason I couldn't have him is because in the UCL over 2 legs got pumped by Bayern, and that just killed it for me. Like, don't get me wrong, in the league they're still doing well. They're, like you said, only 6 points behind, but with 6 games left, I don't see Bayern losing, let's say, 3 out of 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I had them relatively low as well. Honestly, I could have even had them lower. They got pumped by Bayern. They lost against a whatever fuck division team that was in the cup as well. Yeah. So yeah, now looking back at it, maybe I could have had them lower or maybe not even top 10. Honestly, I still think because of the injuries, I still think that they could be a surprise where they could push Bayern a little bit all the way to the end. Yeah, maybe I could have had them lower, honestly, now that I think about it, boys. But anyways, it is what it is. We are going to continue in number 8. We have 2 teams, number 8, okay, with 8 points, actually. The first team, they're both Premier League teams. So the first team is Aston Villa. And then the second team is Newcastle. I will let you know where we had Villa. So I had Villa in at 10. Eris had Villa in at 6. Naeem did not have Villa in there. Amirali had Villa in at 9. Greg did not have Villa in there. So Eris had them the highest at 6.
I had to show them love. And not just because they might pump us tomorrow, because Unai might do some magic, but no.
This guy's trying to reverse jinx that shit right now, bro.
Forget that. I'm just saying, I was telling, before we started the call, I was saying, like, the best storyline right here, Unai pumps us. Unai pumps Arsenal in the next round. Then Unai pumps Barca in the final to win it, to avenge that 6-1. That's the storyline. That's going to be the storyline that's going to happen.
You were good until the final, Crow.
Don't worry. Anyways, so no, but if you look at Villa, look at the record. Right now they're in the UCL quarters. They're in the FA Cup semis. Technically, they're still on for a treble. I know it's not going to happen because the league's pretty much done with Liverpool, but, like, technically speaking, they're on for a treble. And in their last, like, performances, I'm pretty sure they're, like, in the last 10 games, they've only lost once. Like, 9 wins, 1 loss. And they've had decent performances in and out of the Premier League and in the Champions League. They're really informed. They're hot right now.
Eliminated Bruges. Not the biggest challenge, but again, you can only face what you have in front of you. But I was looking at the teams that they recently played against, and it wasn't anyone big, honestly. Like, it was Nottingham Forest. That was the biggest one recently, bro. Yeah. That's the only thing. Liverpool, they tied to Liverpool, which is a good result, But, like, all the other teams, not the biggest challenges. So that's why I couldn't have them higher. Depends what they do against PSG as well, right? If they can do something against you guys, then obviously we'll go even higher. And
yeah, I had them at 9th. I just realized I probably should have had ahead of Leverkusen. I don't know why probably should have reversed that. I would definitely put them ahead of Leverkusen in this ranking. So they might push for a 5th place this year and get the Champions League. I don't know if you guys saw. It was confirmed today.
Yeah, it was confirmed.
Premier League is going to get it, and they're, like, in and about there. So I thought last year with them getting Champions League, they were going to just, like, crash down, kind of. Yeah. I'm rooting for them. As a neutral, I'm rooting for them, both in the FA Cup, Champions League.
It'd be nice if they win a trophy, But yeah, now looking at my list, honestly, I could have Villa over Leverkusen and Atletico as well. Alrighty, the other team was Newcastle. Like I said, I will let you know who had Newcastle. So I did not have Newcastle in there. Eris had Newcastle in at 7. Naeem also had Newcastle in at 7. Amirali did not have Newcastle in there, and Greg as well did not have Newcastle in there.
A lot of what influenced that decision was the big win in the Carabao Cup against Liverpool, and they're on a nice run of form. They're pushing out big teams like City and Chelsea for that. They're fighting those two for that top 4 spot. So obviously those are 2 big factors, and Sandro Tonali is another soft spot for me, so I like following him. Big 3-0 win against Leicester too, but that's not really saying much. Leicester,
those brothers haven't scored since January, I think, bro. So
9 defeats in a row. First time ever.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, I think they're an exciting team. Isak as well, I think, is the best striker in the Premier League. He's banging them in. So nice little run for him.
I think they are fifth right now, so they're pushing that Champions League spot. They run a form in the games. Obviously, they've had some big wins. The only reason I couldn't put them higher than seventh is they did have some decent losses to Liverpool in the league. And obviously not. They made up for that in the Carabao Cup final, and they had a loss to Man City where they got like pummeled.
They got pumped.
Yeah, which was like City's literally barely walking right now. You guys are getting pumped by them. That's crazy. So like I couldn't have them too high, but I obviously have to reward them for the amazing performance against Arsenal in the semis, and then beating Liverpool in the final, and then continue to push for a top 5 spot. So can't deny the Geordies.
Yeah, I don't care if you win a Carabao. City's dog shit. Like this year, City's been horrible. What they get pumped for is crazy. I can't lie.
For me, it was between Villa and them. Pushing in another team from Prem. But I mean, I don't disagree with, that they just won their cup. Got to give them all their flowers. But,
they also got eliminated from the FA. That's another thing why.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that too.
That's another thing why I didn't have them
They
in the
are
top
higher
10,
than Villa
but
in the league, though. Like, currently, they're in the Champions League spot.
Yeah.
They're not just pushing. They are in one. They just have to keep doing what they're doing, so.
No, yeah, for sure. Now, we are going to continue to 7th spot. 15 points. It is none other than the Gunners, Arsenal. All right, I will let you know who had Arsenal in there. This is gonna... shit. Okay, so I did not have Arsenal in there.
I didn't either because I did it before they pumped Madrid. If I did it after, they would have probably been in my top 6.
Yeah, so Ayers did not have them in there. Naeem did not have them in there. Amirali had Arsenal in at 4. Greg had Arsenal in at 3. For Greg, we already know why he had them in at 3.
That's fair.
But hey, listen, after today, that brother was ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? But Amirali, why'd you have them in at 4th?
Yeah, no, I did give my list after the game, but like I was saying, I was gonna have them 4th or 5th. I wasn't not gonna have them. I guess you could say they've been kind of bad this season. I wouldn't say bad though. Like they've been second all year. They're gonna three-peat the second spot, which I don't think has ever been done before. But they're still a solid team. They're still in UCL. If you want to make the list before, they were still in UCL, and now it's like they're looking like they're gonna go to the semis. They've had a lot of injuries too. You gotta kind of take that into consideration. As much as I don't like Arsenal, I was pretty jealous today. Just watching the man just enjoy a proper victory. It's like, you know what, like. Credit where it's due.
I would probably have them in the top 10 after today.
What do you guys think? Yeah, like I said, after today, like if I made a list after the game, they would have easily been in my top 6. And I would have had pushed a couple of teams like down.
One game, bro. But
think about it. If you look at their Prem record, they've dropped a lot of points to like stupid draws here and there, which has kind of cost them the title, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then in the Carabao Cup, they got humiliated by Newcastle. Like that was pathetic. That showing over 2 legs. If that team showed up against Madrid today, they would not have won and done what they did. That the pumping that they gave Madrid. If I had done it after today, they would easily make this list. That one game just changed everything.
So Naeem, where do you think you would have them after this game?
Man, I still wouldn't have
top 6.
You still wouldn't have them? No, I won't have them, man. Newcastle's gonna end up with more trophies than Arsenal this season. You can clip that.
Oh yeah, probably.
I mean, they're already up by 1.
Yeah. So a lot of what influenced my decision is the Carabao Cup games against when they played each other. So when I was thinking like, okay, if Newcastle, I had to pick between the two. So I was like, okay, well, Newcastle obviously beat them convincingly. I think the Newcastle squad isn't as good as Arsenal's. I think Arsenal have more talent personally because of that trophy that Newcastle won. I just swung Newcastle's way and then gave them that spot in my list.
I would probably have Arsenal in. I would have them like 8th or something. So I would have them above Leverkusen and Atleticomadrid. Just because got battered by Newcastle, like we said, tied against the worst United in history, barely won against Chelsea, lost against Fulham, tied against Everton.
They're not clutch. That's the thing with them. They're often not clutch.
Greg's not gonna like that though at all.
Hey, we made them before, man. Like we prefaced it, so
imagine Madrid does like a remontada, and then we look like we're ahead of the curve, bro. You never know; anything can happen. Bro.
That's true. Well, this year's been unpredictable. You can't put anything. You can't write it down.
All it takes is one result, but I pray that doesn't happen, and the game's done. Honestly, the Madrid
not finished, bro.
Arsenal haven't conceded 3 since what was it, Coventry last in 2023.
Madrid hasn't scored against Arsenal in its history yet.
Okay, so but far, they played 3 times.
Hey,
I think Arsenal will still go through, but like
Nah, but
Yeah.
bro, you have to.
You gotta
So
wait.
Arsenal basically don't have to not score, and then they have to score 3 against that fucking Arsenal defense, bro. That brother's gonna pull up with the most haram ball known to mankind, probably.
Bro,
And
5
even if they
CBs,
don't,
5 DMs, no
bro,
tackles.
like
Would any of us be that surprised? If I mean, it'd be impressive, but like if Real goes through,
We wouldn't be surprised.
I think this would.
I'd be like, that's Real
Yeah.
Madrid. Like I would just be like, fuck.
Yeah, like
We've
especially
seen this
after
story
like if
before.
you remember that
We've
run.
seen- yeah.
It was 2022 when they did us dirty.
Yeah.
Did us dirty, did City dirty, did Chelsea dirty. They killed everybody.
I think it would be
Prime
bigger
City,
than those,
maybe
though.
Prime City, you know. That's
I think it would
Oh
be
no,
bigger than those.
it would definitely be bigger than those. I'm just saying though, like
Yeah.
we've seen them do that before. This is just a
Yeah,
little
yeah, of
tougher,
course,
but
yeah.
like it's still possible.
This is tougher though. I don't think they came back from 3-goal deficit in any way.
No.
So
Yeah.
the last time that they basically had to overcome a 3-goal deficit was against Dortmund when Lewandowski scored 4 and they got
And that
eliminated.
didn't happen. They won 2-0 and they got eliminated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys. So from 7th spot, we are going to 6th, 25 points. At one point, these mans were on top of the world, but
Oh.
no longer. Liverpool.
Merseyside?
Liverpool in, yes, sir, in at 6th. I will let you know where we had them. So I had Liverpool in at 6th. Eris had Liverpool in at 8. Naeem had Liverpool in at 5. Amirali had Liverpool in at 8. Greg had Liverpool in at 6.
Sorry, I have my 5th.
Oh, sorry, 5th. I read Leverkusen. My bad. Yeah, you have them in at 5th. Amirali, you're the Liverpool hater basically because you're a United man. Talk to me about
I
it.
don't know. Well, listen, you're right. Like I think when we did this list back in November or whatever it was, I think I had them top.
Wait,
Like,
sorry to interrupt you. Was it
Yeah.
us four that did the other episode?
I think so.
It was
Oh,
me.
it might have been.
I don't know if
I
it
was
was.
here. I think I
also-
was here too. Yeah, I think I was here too.
Yeah, I was here too.
I know
Naeem
I
was
was
here
here.
for sure because he was on the thumbnail. That's what
That's
I remember.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. I was there,
what?
yeah.
That's-
What a
that's
coincidence.
what
I
it
didn't,
is.
I didn't even plan it or anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
All the
look at
viewers
that.
didn't plan it.
That's
Listen,
crazy.
yeah, like if we did this episode a month ago, like right about a month ago, I think Liverpool would have been like top 3, top 2.
They just beat us 1-0 after the we
Yeah,
dominated.
exactly. They were going to Anfield,
Yeah.
like, routine
It
game.
was like
you
a
know.
comfortable win. Yeah.
They were in the cup final. You know, they were still in the FA Cup. They were on for a quadruple. If this episode was a month ago, but it's not.
Not
a
the
month
first
ago.
time that happened. Is that they're on for a quadruple.
Put that
Yeah.
trend pick up. Put that trend pick up.
Crazy.
But no, I still had to have them. I have them at 5th. I think they lost 5 games all season, which is still pretty impressive considering new manager, new season. You know, first everybody thought they're gonna like, including me. I thought they were gonna just basically not do anything this season after Klopp leaving. If you look at Premier League compared to like Serie A, Bundesliga, some of these other leagues, La Liga, like Premier League's been done for close to a month now. So yeah, I mean they had early exits in Champions League and FA Cup, but
Yeah.
they still
Yeah.
should make this power list. So
No, for sure. I think they peaked early. That was the thing with them. You
Yeah.
know? They
Yeah.
peaked early. And
Yeah,
Salah and all
if you
those
look at
guys
Salah's
too.
performances over like the last 4 or 5 games, they've been kind of abysmal.
he went
hey,
from,
Ballon d'Or. Ballon d'Or.
He probably is, yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't he
so-
still like top goal scorer in the Premier
Yeah,
League?
He
Like,
is.
far?
Like, there's nothing to take away from
Or
him.
is
It's
it
just that, like,
Isaac?
in the last
Yes,
4 or
he
5 games, he's been out
Top
of
top
form.
goal scorer and assist.
He can break that 2020,
No,
so
he
I think he needs like 3 assists. Yeah.
He could, but he was shit in the clutch moments,
Yeah.
like for the
Yeah.
Post
competition,
Christmas, man.
for
Post
the
Christmas,
cups,
Salah.
basically, right?
Yeah. The reason I had them so low is, like I said, Amirali said they only had 5 losses this season, but 3 of those came in the last 4 games. Fulham,
True.
Newcastle in the cup final, us in the Champions League round of 16. So it's like those 3 big losses kind of really hindered their performances. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had them first. And I had Barch the second last power ranking. 3 big losses just completely derailed what could have been an insane season. So 8th is the best I could give them.
February to like May,
Crunch
is
time.
so important. Yeah, crunch time, bro. Literally, your season goes to shit.
Man, I'm just giggling up the previous episode that we had, like all of us just, kind of glazing Liverpool. Like we all thought they were
Rightly
going to
so,
do
right?
great big things,
Yeah.
and then you compare that to now, like it's crazy how drastically things have changed. But just like they had a really good first half of the season, second half of the season, it's like that meme picture of like the horse.
The horse, yeah,
Like the horse, high definition, and then second half of the season, that's
Yeah.
been them, and a lot of Salah as well. The post Christmas Salah,
Yeah.
usually this is what happens. He puts that tree up and just goes
Crazy,
goes
bro.
down the gutter. But
Crazy,
again, they're
bro.
still going to win the league, and it's Slot's first season, so that's a big factor why I still have them in there. That's still huge to be doing in your debut season.
They were also just super reliant on Salah, bro. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if he's not performing, then they're screwed. That's the thing at the end of the day. And yeah,
quick-
literally just like the last 5 games or so, basically dropped them off from like a top 3 spot to having them in at 6. But we will continue. All right, we will go to number 5 with 29 points. We have Bayern Munich in. Okay, I will let you know where we all had them. So I had Bayern in at 3rd, actually. Eris had Bayern in at 5. Naeem had Bayern in at 4. Amirali had Bayern in at 7. Greg had Bayern in at 7 as well.
They're probably going to win the league. I mean, if they don't, then that's pretty bad. I mean, when was the last time Bayern didn't win the league in 2 consecutive seasons?
Yeah.
Dortmund when they did it with Klopp. Yeah.
Probably back, like 12,
a decade
13 years ago, right?
whatever,
So Bundesliga tax, as they say. But, they've been solid in, compared to, last year. To be honest, company's doing a pretty good job. I didn't think he would be doing a good job. So
they got a 6-point lead with 6 games left. I don't see them losing 3 games out of those 6. It could happen. I just don't see it. So I feel like they're going to end up winning the Bundesliga. Kane will finally get a trophy. Thank God for him, because honestly, it's been so sad watching that. Again, I made my list before the Champions League, as most of us did, so I didn't factor in the Inter loss because I hadn't put it in there. The one thing I couldn't put them higher, they did lose Musiala to injury, so that's kind of hindering them going forward. We'll see how they perform, I guess, in the next match at the San Siro, but that's going to be...
Yeah.
That's going to be tough to break that, bro. That Catenaccio style, good luck with that, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
My third is Inter and my fourth is Bayern. But my reasons for putting Inter below Bayern were kind of trivial. It's like, okay, I don't like Inter, so I'm going to put them below Bayern, and that's just like, it's just not good enough reason. They had a huge result in the Champions League against leverkusen, just blew them out of the water. So that was a factor that skewed my decision into Bayern being fourth. But looking back, I think Inter deserved that third spot for me. They've consistently been winning the Bundesliga titles the past few years. They're always a favorite in the Champions League, but we'll see what happens in the second leg.
They took a hit. Musiala, Davies, Upamecano, all those brothers are injured now. So, I'm not surprised that Inter beat them, honestly, at the end of the day. But they slapped up Leverkusen, top of the league. They hadn't lost. I think they have one loss or whatever since December or something like that, with what I was looking at. I'm pretty sure. Like, the last team that they lost to was like Leverkusen, but they lost to one German team a couple of weeks ago or something like that. Other than that, it was just like dubs, basically. I thought Leverkusen had a chance of actually beating them and going through in the UCL. So after today, they probably would drop a little bit down. We are going to continue. 4th spot, 33 points. We have Inter. Okay. I had Inter in at 5th. Eris had Inter in at 3rd. Naeem also had Inter in at 3rd. Amirali had Inter in at 6th. Greg had Inter in at 5th.
Dude, they're so good at what they do. I think you guys should really go back to my first episode, and I just echo that same sentiment. They've been showing their class, and I don't want to say too many good things about them because I don't really like them. They benched Di Marco, and then I think Dumfries as well. They didn't really have their starting fullbacks, and they still just went out to Bayern in Germany, and they outclassed them. Every single time I tune into an Inter game, hoping they're going to lose in the Serie, they just somehow they pip by with the result, and they just dominate most of the Liga, and they're doing it in the Champions League, and they're one of the best teams in the world, I think.
Obviously, looking at their recent form, I think last 10, 11 games from what I saw, no losses, absolutely dominating. That Bayern performance, just shows that they're actually there to compete. They're looking to win the Serie A. They got a 3-point lead, nothing too crazy, but I feel like they're going to win it. They're just playing some amazing football to get those wins.
I know they've been chasing first, for most of the year. They were second, right? They're kind of opposite to Liverpool, where they've just been clear off the top. These guys have to actually go and chase that, and they are actually doing it. So
the reason that I had him in at 5th, they're on for the treble. Obviously, I could have had them higher, and I probably will have them higher in the next one based off of this result, probably over Bayern, I would say. But as of right now, I had them in that spot just because I was looking at the games that they did play against who they played. So they have 2 draws here against Milan, 1 loss against Fiorentina, 3-0. They have a loss against Juve, 1-0. So a tie against Napoli. So that's why I kind of had them a little bit lower than you guys. But I do think that they have the potential to be in the top 3, in my opinion.
Dude, Inter can beat every single team in the world, but they can't beat us this season. They just can't. So we'll see if that changes in the second leg of the Copa.
We are going to continue. Podium, okay? 34 points, 1 point above Inter. The current UCL winners. We have Real Madrid, the most corrupt club in the world as well, might I add. We have Real Madrid in there. I had them in at 4th. Eris also had them in at 4th. Naeem had them in at 8. I rated, brother. Amirali had them in at 3rd, and then Greg had them in at 2nd. So Greg had Madrid over Arsenal, basically.
Naeem's the only one that knows ball in this.
Naeem had them in at 8th. Naeem, talk to me.
Yeah, dude, let me start. I mean, you can't not have them in there, but at the same time, guys, they're just not a convincing team. I don't think they're gonna win La Liga this season. They haven't been obviously, here's the thing. I made my list before the shit that happened today happened.
You wouldn't
But
even have them today.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think they were convincing Atletico, so I thought I based it off like those two games, and then the Leganes game I tuned into. Like Leganes could have won that as well. Like they're like winning these games like off the back burner, and it's just not convincing enough to me. I honestly think there's a possibility they could go trophyless as well. So I just have them in that 8. They're not convincing me at all.
I love it, brother. That was poetry to my ears. That was a symphony, bro. You just orchestrated a fucking symphony for me, bro. I love what you just said. And I agree with all of it, bro.
Yeah.
But it is good to see that people who don't actually like follow just La Liga exclusively, like from other leagues as well, they were able to witness today what Real Madrid has been throughout the whole season, bro. They're not good. Real Madrid is not a good team, bro. They rely on basically individual brilliance. But as a team, they're trash together. As like
a Madrid roast right here.
No, it's just the way it is, bro. They just lost 3-0. Bro, Courtois is the only reason that they didn't take 5 or 6.
Should have been more.
That's what I'm saying. And that's another reason. Courtois has saved them in many, many games as well. Talk to me about Madrid, because I remember in the last episode you were like, hey, guys, they're Madrid. When we come back to this, they could be winning it all or whatever.
Yo.
So what do you think now? I'm curious.
Well, I said that about City, if you remember. I had City in my...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
He's the only one.
I'm like, well, wait till May. It's business end of the season. I think it's a little disingenuous to say Madrid is not a good team. You can say they're not going to win anything, and I mean, they're still in it, you know. They've had their ups and downs, obviously. They were leading at some point at La Liga, now they're like 4 points off, so they're still in all 3 competitions. They're in the final, right, with Copa. With La Liga, they're like obviously in their Champions League. Yeah, we talked about it when we talked about Arsenal. Doesn't look great, but I don't know. I think maybe top 5 is reasonable. I had them 3rd, maybe it's a little bit higher, but
Bro, I'm telling you, I watch them every week. Those brothers play like shit, bro.
Listen, they pull through.
Yeah.
Every time there's something about them. You want to call it whatever you want to call it, but
check some bank accounts. That's the thing with them, you know.
But I'm saying none of us here would be surprised if these guys are in the Champions League final come May.
That's not gonna happen. I will bet.
You wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying.
No, I would be surprised with 3-0 against Arsenal. I would be surprised.
I would be impressed. I wouldn't be surprised.
I would be surprised, brother. 3-0 against Arsenal, I would be surprised. I can't lie to you. Against Barcelona, they shot the bed twice. They lost against Milan. They lost against Liverpool as well. They lost against Arsenal. Against the big teams this season, they haven't been performing. That's the thing. It took a fucking Alvarez double touch for them to be here. They could have not even been here.
We looked at the Champions League. They struggled against Atleti over 2 legs. We looked at the Copa del Rey. They struggled against Sociedad over 2 legs, right?
Yep.
They're in the final, so obviously I had to give them credit for that. Fair enough. You look at the games against Valencia, against Betis, where they lost, they dropped points. They haven't been as consistent. Yes, they are still in the title hunt for La Liga. 4 points is a decent, amount. They could make it up. They could not. Who knows? Yeah. They're still in the Copa final. That's why I was like, all right, I could still keep them up there in the ranking, but I couldn't justify a podium position. Obviously after today, they would have probably, if I had taken today into account, they probably would have been like 7th, 8th, maybe 9th.
If they weren't in contention for a treble, I would have had them much lower as well. The only reason that I have them there is because they're in contention still mathematically for a treble. And then they just took 3 from Arsenal. So in my head, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should have had them lower. Even last year, bro, I'll be honest with you. Last year was like, okay, Jude carried them for a big amount of time, and then Jude dropped off, and Vinny's the one who carried them.
Jude was so bad today.
Yeah, like even
so bad today.
Conversations.
Yeah, having combos, bro.
Conversation. Declan Rice combos as well for you, bro.
That's my bad. I've already admitted my mistake. I said, bro, like if this man continues to shit on me, I have to buy a Declan Rice jersey.
Who had Madrid the highest?
Madrid the highest. Greg had them in a second.
Yeah.
Broski did that for the voodoo, bro.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
He's like, yo, I'm gonna put him in second, so Arsenal, in case Arsenal loses, he's like, yo, they lost. They lost.
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, exactly. That brother's playing 5D chess, bro. Alrighty, so we are gonna go to our top 2 clubs. Second place with 43 points, PSG, and then in first with 50 points, basically all points available.
That's crazy. All 5
of us had him first, damn.
All 5 is
I was
Had
very close
Barcelona
to
at
it in
first.
second.
So all four of us had PSG in that second. Greg had PSG in that fourth.
Okay.
So Greg had Barcelona, Real Madrid, Arsenal, and PSG.
That's fair. Okay.
Basically.
Obviously, I wanted to be biased. I wanted to put them in first, but looking at it, I couldn't. Obviously, yes, we are killing it in the league. We just won the league. We're still undefeated, which is huge. Like, obviously, if we can get an invincible season, great. We're still in the Champions League. We got a quarterfinal match against Villa tomorrow. We've been really in form. Obviously, the 2 legs against Liverpool, even though game that we lost, the first leg, we absolutely dominated them. They got lucky with that win, and then we proved that in the follow-up game. What can I say, bro? Our talent has been amazing this year. Our midfield core with Vitinha, with João Neves, with Fabian Ruiz. We did the top 10 left backs and right backs list, and everybody voted, Nuno and Hakimi best left back and right back. And they've been amazing. They've been immense for us in the Champions League and in the league. I kind of overrate Marquinhos a bit. I feel like he's done well. Not the greatest by his standards, but I feel like he's still a solid captain, like when we need him to be. Give the flowers to my boys and put him up there in second.
You should have pulled the Greg. You should have put Villa ahead of PSG in your ranking, bro.
I should have. Can we do that? Can we flip that? All right, Villa second, PSG third. Shift everyone down one.
There's nothing much more I can add. I like the front three. It's so fluid with Doué and then Dembele and Kvaratskhelia. It's just like I was watching this one game. It's like Kvara's right wing and then Dembele's left wing, and then just like they all like just swap around. It confuses the defenders so much. I love that. But no, huge fan of Doué. I think is he 19? He has a huge future ahead of him. I think he'll be a France starter probably in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Nothing much more to add. I think they're favorites to win the Champions League this season.
Crazy. They're favorites?
Damn, that's
why didn't you have them number one then?
Oh, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to my number one, though, bro. Like, there's a reason why I don't have them number one.
Interesting. So they're favorites, but they're not your number one. I see. Interesting.
Oh, no, okay, they're favorites to be in top 4. Let me change that. They're favorites to be in the last part of the Champions League.
Since the Liverpool game, like it's just maybe a little bit before that, but they've basically turned the switch and they've been quite formidable since then. They're champions right now, right? 0 defeats. Yeah. That's like even for League One standards, that's still pretty good. So you never know. They should beat Villa. They should beat Villa tomorrow. And what's interesting is like this group of players they have now, like when you compare to the last 3, 4, 5 years when they had like Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, like bigger names, and now it's like maybe not everybody has the big name, but it's just the system is just working a lot better.
Yeah,
I like that. That's credit to Luis Enrique, obviously.
PSG, bro, I love him. I'll be honest with you. This is probably the best PSG. Yeah, bro, of course. Lucho, bro. Come on,
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that glaze. Come on.
That's a Barca legend right there, bro.
No. Luis Enrique, bro. Like, that man's revolutionizing your club finally.
Best PSG team, you said? Is that what you think?
Best PSG team
as a unit,
as a unit, honestly, like in the last decade or so, they're very, very fluid. I love the way they play. I think they are one of the favorites for the UCL. I think they reached the final, in my opinion. I think PSG reaches the final, and I think they deserve it. The funny thing is, when we did this, none of us had them in our top 10, I believe. Because in the UCL, they barely made it as well, as you guys recall, right?
Yeah, they were just above the line or below.
Yeah, they started off the season very, very poorly in the UCL, and then look at them now. That's the thing, kind of the opposite of Liverpool, essentially. And you guys just won the league. It is Liga, so it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think you guys are favorites to win a treble as of right now. The league is done, right? You can rest players for the UCL, do whatever you want, and then in the cup you have.
We're in the final against RM, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if I'm thinking of it logically, I think you guys are the most likely to get a treble, or like on the easier path, I would say, to get a treble. Yeah, that's the thing.
Shout out to Nuno Mendes, man. I think it's time for me to see the best left back in the world.
For me, shout out to, I mean, you guys already did, but Doué. I love that brother. Honestly, he's I think he's one of the most talented players in the world, in my opinion. All right. Number one, like we said, unanimous, 50 points across the board. The best club in the world is number one. The only undefeated team in 2025, basically, in the top 5 leagues. Hansi Flick has revolutionized this team, I would say. We have the front runner for the Ballon d'Or, in my opinion, as of right now, Rafinha. We have Pedri, who's having the best season that he's ever had. I think he's the best midfielder in the world this season as well. Lamine is doing what Lamine does. It's insane what he's doing at 17, It's been a while since I was able to, smile when I watch my team, and now I can't wait for literally every single game that we have, bro. Shout out to Ferran Torres as well, by the way. That brother's having a very, very good season as an impact sub. As of right now, he has more non-penalty goals in La Liga than the Ballon d'Or winner Vinicius Jr. I think we are the most entertaining team in the world as of right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, so like they're probably gonna win the league. To be honest with you, I don't see them.
We'll see.
I mean, how many games left? Is it 7, 6 or 7?
7 games left, right? It's
7 games
31 or 30. Oh no, 8.
No, 8
games left.
8. Okay,
and we play Madrid as well.
Okay, so it's gonna be a little juicy last few games, but you should be able to pull it off. To be honest. So.
We'll see, step by step. I'm
you
not the type of fan that talks ahead of time, bro. I'm like, yo, step by step. We'll see how it goes. That's the thing.
They are favorites to win the Champions League, though, Barca, like by the bookies. So they are.
I believe so. Yeah. Now that Liverpool's out,
you think you guys are gonna win the treble?
No comment.
He's trying to bait you.
You prefer not to speak?
I'm very superstitious when it comes to shit like this, bro. So I prefer not to speak at all. But you should see me when I'm watching games. Like I'll literally sit in a specific position if we're winning. If I move and we concede a goal, I go back to the position that I was sitting.
Bro, I had that happen, the UCL run, but when we made it to the final in 2020, I made the mistake of sitting in this one spot in the Atalanta game and they scored against us. In that couch, I have never sat in that same position watching a PSG game ever. Because that one goal that Atalanta scored against us, bro. So I get that.
So another superstition is I don't talk about the T word. I will not talk about that at all unless it happens. We'll see.
Treble?
Step by step. Step by step. We'll see. We'll see.
They haven't lost a game since December, was it 21st or something? That was the only loss. They lost Atletico. Their run of form this year has just been insane. Lamine Yamal, man, it's just what he's doing is just really magical. The skills, the trivellas, and nutmegs, like it's all like kind of coming together. And I don't think I've seen like a 17-year-old as talented, but I just don't think I've seen a 17-year-old like as talented as Lamine Yamal. Barcelona deservedly have their spot as the best team in the world and number 1 in form.
Most informed team in the world. And then obviously you guys have had like recent games, you guys have had slightly tougher opponents than we had. Yes, we had the Liverpool games, but you guys played Atleti 3 out of your last 10 games. Beat them over 2 legs, beat them in the league, won convincingly against Benfica in the Champions League, obviously. And again, over 2 legs, one of them you had a red card for like a majority of the match. 4 points ahead in the league, in the Copa final, still in contention for a treble. Like, what else is there to say, right? Everything I said about PSG, the same thing applies to Barca, except technically, like, I give them a bit more advantage. You guys had, say, tougher games in the recent fixture list. So had to put that up there.
If you told me this Chelsea would be Barcelona's starting keeper like 2 years ago, I'd like laugh at you. Like, what do you mean Chelsea's gonna be starting?
You told me Chelsea's gonna win a treble.
It's crazy, bro.
What the fuck are you on about?
Bro, it's actually insane. Like 3 months ago, this guy was smoking packs in fucking Ibiza or some shit like that.
Ibiza.
I don't even know, bro. Bro, if Ter Stegen was in net for that Benfica game that we were a man down, we would be conceding like 3 goals at least, minimum. I'm telling you. Szczesny was sick, bro.
Ter Stegen was in net in the Monaco game, right? When you guys got the red? Yeah, you guys conceded 2. So, like, there's already proof.
And he was a statue, bro. Literally.
Yeah.
He was just like, this is all he does. He just raises his arm and that's it.
Oh, yeah, that's the meme.
Crazy, yeah.
You just remind me of something. I think it's like really cool how Szczesny and Lewandowski, like they've been playing in the Polish like team in the youth teams for like a long time, and like they've been like best friends since forever. If they win a treble or even like a trophy, I think that's just like really cool to have like one of your football's like best friends like to be lifting that trophy together. Like I think Lewandowski's like 37, Szczesny's also like 37, 38, and like they've been playing together for a long time. So that'd be just nice to see.
There you guys have it. That was our power rankings, club power rankings. It is the second one that we're doing. We are going to be doing one probably towards the end of the season or something like that as well to see how everything goes. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there were any teams that we missed out. Let us know if you guys think that Barcelona is the best team in the world as of right now. Anything can change literally down the line, okay? All it takes is a couple of games, as we saw with Liverpool. From everyone from Footy Gents, me, Amarali, Naeem, Eris, we will see you guys on the next episode. Until then, take it easy. Peace.